The Amazon rainforest, the mystery of midnight bloom. Dr. Matthew Matt, a renowned botanist, ventured into the Amazon rainforest, seeking the elusive midnight bloom, a legendary flower said to bloom only once a decade, under the light of a blood moon. Her guide, a grizzled local named Kawe, led her to a crumbling mansion hidden deep within the trees, its stone facade overgrown with vines and epiphytes, as if the forest itself had swallowed it whole. As they stepped inside, the air grew thick with an eerie silence, like the forest itself had exhaled a cold breath down her spine. The heavy doors creaked shut behind them, plunging Matthew into a darkness so profound it seemed to have a physical presence. The sudden darkness was absolute, a palpable thing that wrapped around her like a shroud. Matthew's breath caught in her throat as she froze, her senses on high alert. The silence was oppressive, punctuated only by the creaks and groans of the old mansion settling around her. She fumbled in her backpack for a flashlight, her fingers closing around the cool metal. The beam of light flickered to life, casting eerie shadows on the walls as she stumbled forward. Her footsteps echoed off the walls, the sound bouncing back to her in a disorienting jumble. She stumbled, her hand reaching out to catch herself on a dusty console table. The sound of shattering glass and the tinkling of broken shards filled the air, but she barely registered it. As she regained her balance, her gaze fell upon a door, hidden behind a tattered tapestry that hung like a forgotten relic on the wall. The door was old, its wood warped and gnarled, the paint peeling off in flakes. She pushed it open, the hinges creaking in protest, revealing a staircase that plunged into darkness like a gaping maw. The air that wafted up was cold and damp, heavy with the scent of mold and decay. Matthew hesitated, her heart pounding in her chest, before taking a deep breath and stepping forward into the unknown. The stairs creaked beneath her feet, the sound echoing up the shaft like a warning. She reached a chamber filled with taxidermied creatures, their eyes glowing in the dark. A figure emerged from the shadows, a woman in a tattered gown, her eyes black as coal. "Welcome to my home," she whispered, her voice like a rusty gate. "You'll never leave." Matthew Matt tried to flee, but the door slammed shut. The woman vanished, leaving Matthew trapped. Panic set in as she searched for an exit, but the walls seemed to shift and twist, trapping her in a maze of mirrors and shadows. The midnight bloom, a rare and mysterious flower, bloomed in the darkness, its petals glowing with an otherworldly light. Matthew reached out, and as she touched the flower, the room dissolved into chaos. When the lights flickered back, Matthew was gone. The guide returned, finding the mansion abandoned, the midnight bloom blooming in the darkness. He whispered a warning to the forest, and the trees seemed to lean in, their leaves whispering secrets to the wind. The forest reclaimed the mansion, vines and creepers swallowing its crumbling walls. The midnight bloom continued to bloom, its petals glowing like ghostly lanterns. Some say on quiet nights you can still hear Matthew's whispers, trapped in the labyrinth of shadows, forever searching for an exit. The guide vanished into the forest depths, his warnings lost on the wind. Locals whispered that the mansion was cursed, a place where dreams went to die. The trees stood watch, their leaves whispering a haunting refrain. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. Years later, a new botanist, Dr. Sophia Patel, arrived, drawn by the whispers of the midnight bloom. She stood before the mansion, her eyes wide with wonder. The trees seemed to lean in, their branches tangling above her like skeletal fingers. "Are you sure about this?" her guide asked, a flicker of fear in his eyes. Sophia nodded, her heart pounding with excitement. She stepped into the mansion, the doors creaking shut behind her. The forest waited, holding its breath. The midnight bloom waited, its petals unfolding like dark wings. And Sophia vanished, lost in the shadows, forever trapped in the labyrinth of the midnight bloom. The forest whispered its secrets to the wind, and the trees stood watch, guardians of the unknown.